Hey, what's going on, guys? Blunt Guts here. This is Watcher Realms video. Appreciate you joining my channel. I am back from my brief hiatus. I was on a trip across the country, showing off baby guts to a bunch of relatives. So he's a big hit, by the way. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Got some great pictures out of it. As a big fan of his myself, I certainly enjoyed that. So. In any case, guys, I do want to talk briefly about what is going on this week in Watcher of Realms. I'm sorry, typically this is a video that I do post on Monday. I do some rewards and things like that, maybe some summons if they are available. But right now, all we're going to be doing is really just going over the things that are happening right now in Watcher of Realms. And there's not really a lot that's going on right now in Watcher of Realms, but there will be a lot going on in the next 45 minutes or so. I believe actually even less than that, about half an hour from now, half an hour from the time of this filming, the servers will go down, a patch will be deployed, and we are going to have a lot of new goodies in Watcher of Realms. But first, let's talk about what's currently on the servers that is new. Let's start off with Arena, talk about what we can expect this week. Last week, we did end on AoE DPS, which does mean, since we are starting on anti-air DPS this week, we will have single target DPS. Oh, my least favorite of the different game modes. So single target DPS will be over the weekend. It will determine final rankings for the week. So get ready for that. All you Valderon owners are going to be very excited, I am sure. Other than that, we do have codexes that are going on. Of course, Conqueror is here. You can see I'm top 1% in that. Number 27 on the Lord of the Sticks right now. And the Mother of Crows, I have not had any chance to work on this. I ran it once. I got into the top 6%, which is, not good by any means. I haven't really even researched how the boss does work, but I've got a little over a week to rectify that. Hopefully I will have a video out when I do have a more compelling run to show off here. But let's take a look and see exactly what is dominating here. And it does seem to be primarily a lot of Piercer comps. I'm glad I pulled Yovar a few weeks ago, that's for sure. Yovar is very big here. I do have all of the heroes in what seems to be the meta comps. And I don't have all the awakenings, unfortunately. I'm not going to be able to compete that way, but I should be able to get onto the leaderboard, I would imagine, because I do have a Yovar, I do have Lady A, I do have Silas and Hex and Beelzebub and Anora, of course, and there's some variations here. Seems like Yuri is making an appearance in here as well. What is a little bit surprising is, and I think this goes to the game design, is that there's not a lot of crowd control units that are really meta in this. It does not seem anyway. I mean, again, I don't know how this works all that well. I ran it once. I know there's a bunch of birds that fly by. I know you're supposed to kill them. I know they have to die before you can hurt the boss. But other than that, I really don't know anything about it. All I do know is that this was built as a crowd control codex, and all I see are damage dealers. I mean, look at the top team here. Units that do have real crowd control abilities, we're really talking about Anora and Beelzebub. I guess you could throw Hex in there because he'd have slows and he does have stuns. But other than that, there's really not that much crowd control going on with the rest of this team, and certainly no hard CCs. I mean, where are the Mauls, the Fenrises? Where's Mari? Where's Theowen? I just, this is not exactly what it was held up to be, but oftentimes it is the crowd that decides exactly how this content is going to be tackled. So I guess the crowd has spoken, and they've said firmly Piercers. We don't have a banner that is up on the calendar right now, so we don't know exactly what's coming this weekend, but we can make an educated guess based on some of the snippets that have been released, and we can assume that KRODOR and GLACIUS will be on a banner coming this weekend. That is what's showing on the PC client launch app right now, and I have no reason to believe that they would put that up there for no reason. Now, during patch weeks, typically, the banner will not show up until after the patch, so we should find out officially within the next couple of hours. However, right now it does seem like it's going to be a very disappointing banner. I will have a should you summon type of video out sometime tomorrow. I'm still kind of playing catch up as I am returning from being away, but my hope is that I can get something out to give you a little bit of advice if you are interested in pulling where you should start, where you should stop, that kind of thing, how good these heroes are. But I will say just ahead of time, I think this is a save weekend for everybody. Even early game folks, this is a save weekend because neither one of those heroes is really going to do all that much for you that other heroes can't. So just my opinion, but tune into that video for more details. Other than that, we are moving on to week 4 of GVG Season 8. After this week, we will be at the halfway point of the season, which I think is really when things start to get a little bit more serious. Rankings get a little bit more solidified. We can take a look at the rankings right here, see how my guild is stacking up. Ooh, baby, is that a number 10, top 10 for Celestials Arbiters us? No. The unfortunate part about that is that we are more than likely going to be going up against the Shire again. Maybe Paladin Legends, maybe Nadenlos. We'll have to wait and see. Could be SUS as well. I don't know exactly how it's going to shake out. I will say I would prefer not to face the Shire again, personally. As great as they are, I know it's good content and all that, but we just did that a couple weeks ago. I would like to play somebody different. And it does seem like one of the flaws of this system is that because of the way that point gains and losses do occur, that very often what ends up happening is that you face the same guilds over and over again throughout the season. So I would prefer not to do a repeat against them. I'd like to show some of these other guilds. And I do think that just matchup-wise, a lot of these other guilds are going to be better matchups for us, so we'll have a better chance at winning. So selfishly, I would love to win as well. But we are ranked number 10 right now, which means at the very least, we should have a very solid matchup coming tomorrow. And if we do manage to pull out a win, we would be going up more than likely against one of the top 5 guilds in the subsequent match over the weekend. So yeah, that would be very exciting. I would love to see it. Other than that, there's not really much else to talk about. I mean, what else could we... Oh, right. The crazy patch that is coming. I have mixed feelings about it. Let's go through the patch notes together. Here we go. Update announcement starting on May 6th, 1915 UTC -8 to 2115. That, at least on the East Coast in the US, is 11:15 p.m. to 1:15 a.m. in the morning. And this is a big one, honestly. There's a lot of stuff that they've been talking about for a long time that is going to be making an appearance here. I'm going to kind of give you the Cliff's Notes version here. I'm not going to really read through the entire thing here. You all, most of you anyway, I'm sure can read, so please go and peruse this at your leisure. But I will kind of highlight some of the things that I do think are significant about this patch. And I'm going to start off with the change that we're going to see with Diao-Chan right here, which I do think is a fantastic change. So one thing that I don't like about Diao-Chan, as much as I love her, so her Song of Sorrow, her inspiration mode does have 2 different components to it. One is inspiration, like I just mentioned. The other is that she does provide a penetration buff to 2 or 3 allies, depending on her awakening level. The problem is that the game determines who gets that buff based on the max attack of the hero currently. However, after this patch, we are going to see a change to that. Healers will not be able to receive that buff after this, which is great because there are some healers that have really high base attack. And if you build them a certain way, then you could unintentionally direct that penetration buff to them. There's a lot of things to juggle as is. I don't love the way that this buff works, period. I'm just gonna say that up front. I don't think it should work based on highest attack. I don't love that. I wish there was a different way to go about it. The problem is that the different classes in the game, I'm talking about mages, I'm talking about marksmen, I'm talking about fighters. Those are the 3 classes that specifically designed to deal damage in this game. And they all have kind of inherent levels of base attack. That does mean that if you want to direct the penetration buff, say to Hex, for example, in Abyss 1, it becomes very challenging because you have to make sure that Hex is at the very least the 2nd or 3rd highest, again, depending on Diao-Chan Awakening, attack in your comp. My A5 Hex only has about 4,000 base attack, but Lord Phineas, for example, has nearly twice that amount at 7,200, and that is just ridiculous. It's hard to compete. I'd have to gear him in triple crit damage percent pieces and Hex in all attack bonus main stat pieces that have flat attack on them as well. And you see, it's very challenging to have to do that. And it means that I might have to gear in a suboptimal way in order to make that happen. So anyway, minor rant. I don't love the way that works. I did want to highlight it. Let's talk about what else is coming. Something else with heroes here, in particular summoners that do summon units that occupy tiles, meaning that you could not place a hero on top of a tile that was occupied by a summon. So in this instance, we're talking about Sun Wukong, Cyrus, Kai, Dahlia, Elowen, AI, and Kook, as well as the Wailing Skull artifact. Now, if you do try to place a unit on top of a tile that is currently occupied by one of those summons, the summon will vanish and you will be able to place that unit. Love that change. It is a needed one. Next up, we do have the Honors Gauntlet coming. This is Watcher of Realms live arena, which is interesting. I don't know enough about this to really make any kind of substantive judgment. One thing I will tell you that I do like a lot is this number 5. When selecting heroes for your teams, you cannot use the same hero in more than one team. The way that this works generally is that there are 3 types of challenges. You have to set up a team for each different type of challenge. This number 5 rule does mean that you can't use repeat heroes, which I do love. It does mean that you have to think a little bit more strategically. You can't just say pop Ingrid and your meta team into every single comp. But with that being said, what we have seen since the updates to Arena is that there are different metas for each type of arena, which I think does mean that we're unlikely to see a ton of crossover. I don't know how limiting this is actually going to be, but I will suspend disbelief and just wait and see how it does turn out. Stages, this is a big one here. The main thing that I want to focus on here is they've added floors 22, 23, and 24 to Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3. About goddamn time. You're going to get increased drops for Ancients. I do believe we're going to get increased drops for Demon Soldiers as well. That one is the really big one, honestly, because it has become incredibly cumbersome to farm for the higher levels of Demon Soldiers, so I am hoping this is a significant change. I don't know how much of a difference this is really going to make for you, but we will have to wait and see. And then probably my least favorite change that they are making here is going to be this plan sharing and plan storage and this GVG optimization thing that they are doing. Based on what I'm reading here, they are allowing people to share their auto fights within their guild, meaning that if you do beat an opponent, you should be able to share an auto fight of your timings with a guildmate. I don't know why you feel like you need to dumb down this content. It is atrocious for competition. The only saving grace here is that the auto fights in this game mode, and in a lot of places, honestly, in this game, but particularly in this game mode, typically don't work all that well. So I think we're going to see a lot of losses as a result of this. But just that this is something that they are okay with, it to me is just a slap in the face. I hate it. I think this is awful for the game mode. I think that this is one of the few places that is kind of like end game competitive content. It should not be changed. As many problems as I do have with GVG, not being able to click auto fight to get my attack done is not one of them. So I would be very happy if this was removed entirely, or maybe I've misread it. You can tell me if I'm wrong about that, but I've read this a few times. That is what I've taken from it. And the reason I read it a few times is because I'm just in stunned disbelief that this is even considered, and let alone actually making it into the game, but here we are. So yeah, whatever. Let's not end on a negative note, guys. Let's talk about something positive. The Dwarven Association, they are adding some buffs to the Awakening Shop, and I do love that. They're going to be adding complete Demon Soldier units to the Awakening Shop. They are going to be increasing the Legendary Hero Soul Stones by 1, meaning there should be 2 Legendary Hero Soul Stones each week, which is great. I think that, you know, having to wait multiple months in order for one to cycle back, Arrogance in particular for me, that's what I'm waiting on right now, has been really frustrating. And hopefully this means that they are either going to cycle through them more quickly, or they're going to add other ones to the rotation. Either one would be great. Both would be great, honestly. If you are listening, Moonton, that would be wonderful. And then we're also going to be able to spend more of the Epic Awakening currency on auto-fight chances and Legendary Skill Dust, which I think Legendary Skill Dust probably not something that most people need when they are endgame, but I guess younger accounts, it is probably going to be helpful for them. Finally, we've got a bunch of optimizations here. There's a couple here that I think are worth noting, but I don't know how they're going to exactly manifest in game. The first one is this one, increased Demon Soldier drop rate in Drake's Chasm. That's great. More Demon Soldiers would be great. 2, optimized acquisition difficulty for certain Demon Soldiers. I don't know what that means. I like optimization, but that is very nondescript, so I'll have to wait and see whether or not that is going to be a positive at the end of the day. This one does seem interesting. Players will be marked as defeated and unable to take revenge after a certain number of revenge attempts against the same opponent in PvP. I assume they mean arena. I didn't know that there was a revenge thing coming. Did I miss that someplace? Maybe it's somewhere else in the notes. I didn't see that, but cool. I like that. And then finally, increase the development bonus that Awakened Legendary Lord heroes provide to Demon Soldiers. I can only assume this does mean that there will be more of an onus on using Awakened Legendary Lords as affiliation units for GVG. We'll have to wait and see how this shakes out, but this could potentially change the affiliation hierarchy in GVG, which be interested to see how that exactly shakes out, possibly put out a video later in the week, and maybe hone in on how these changes are exactly going to impact your affiliations in GVG. And that is all I have for you guys. I do appreciate you all tuning in. Please do keep an eye out for my Should You Summon video coming out tomorrow with my insights on KRODOR and GLACIUS. And other than that, good luck in this upcoming GVG week. Good luck on whatever else it is you are trying to tackle. Let me know what you think of these patch note changes. I think there's some good ones. I'm a little concerned about some other ones, but we'll have to wait and see how it manifests in game before I get too riled up about it either way. So appreciate you all tuning in. I will catch you all next time.